Guys, I don't know how long this video is going to be because I don't know how much strength I have to do this video, but a lot of you have asked where I disappeared to on YouTube because I've never gone this long without doing a video, and I did totally disappear. Life has been completely unexpected and different than what I thought it was going to be. Yeah. So, the last time we spoke, I got off TPN, and my husband was just feeling kind of sick, right? Nothing bad, just, yes, Jack, not feeling great. And so I was doing a little more around the house and, was helping him feel better. Well, one day I came downstairs from going to the bathroom, shortly after doing my last video, and my husband all of a sudden looked yellow, and he is talking like nonsense, like referring to one of the dogs as a unicorn. And I said, baby, I think I need to call an ambulance. I think you need to go to the hospital. And he was like, no, I don't want to go to school. I'm not ready yet. I didn't do my homework. Things are just not quite making sense. So I called his dad because I was like, well, if he's not going to go, I need to get backup. And I told his dad, like, I think I need to call the ambulance. And his dad was like, then do it. So I did. My husband never came home again. My husband was apparently in liver failure. He then went into kidney failure and eventually respiratory failure, and eventually his heart gave out while on the ventilator. And apparently it all kind of started with a weird UTI, and we had both had COVID weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks before, like almost a month before, and gotten it out of our system. I mean, by the time he got in there and had sepsis, he was beyond negative, but his body was so weak from it that it just couldn't fight off this UTI. He went into multi-organ failure, and he died. And while he was in the hospital, a few days, probably 2 or 3 days after I called the ambulance for him, I woke up in the middle of the night. And so while he's in there, I could not stop sleeping. And I thought, okay, it's part of stress. I have this adrenal tumor. My body just can't handle the stress. I figured it was just like my body's inability to react to it, right? A lot of people when they're stressed, they can't sleep. I figured, okay, my body just can't stop sleeping. It was so ridiculous. So I'd get off the phone with the doctor, I'd get off the phone with him, I'd get off the phone with a family member, and I'm asleep. If I'm not on the phone trying to handle something for him, I'm asleep. And deep, deep, deep sleep. So I wake up one night at midnight, and I can't stop shivering, and I can't stop shivering so bad. I go to pick up my phone and I'm dropping it. And I go to say something to the dog and I can't even get the words out. So I go and I take a super hot bath. Well, I turn on the little space heater, can't get warm. I grab another blanket, can't get warm. I'm just like freezing cold. And the thermometer and everything, it says it's like 70 degrees outside. It's like 65 degrees in the room. Like, and I'm freezing as if I am like naked out in the snow. And so I go and I get in the bathtub in like scalding hot water. And the first thing I do is I call the ICU, and I'm like, I think my husband might have a virus because I'm sick now too. Like, and the first thing that pops in my head is, great, maybe we can get a diagnosis for me, figure out something else that's going on with my husband, because at this point we really didn't even know what was causing my husband to be so sick. And I'm thinking they'll magically cure us both. So I call my sister-in-law in Singapore because she's a doctor, and she's like, your symptoms sound a lot like John's, like, you're not doing well, you need to call an ambulance. So I call an ambulance, and the lady in the ambulance is like so rude. So she's telling me, you're taking an ambulance ride and a bed away from a COVID patient. You're wasting our time and our resources. So my normal temperature is like 96, 97. So when I'm in the ambulance, my temperature is 99, which is a fever for me. So when I'm in there, she's like, this is just anxiety from your husband being sick. She's telling me about how this is just like a waste of resources. I mean, she's just letting me have it. And I was like, if you're 100% sure that this is just anxiety manifesting this way, just take me back home. You know, like, just take me back home if you're 100% sure. And she almost did. So she gets me to the hospital. You know, they do the COVID swab, everything, and I'm negative. And, because I've been negative for some time by then. She gets me in the ER, and by that time, my temperature is 102.9. Already, it's already climbed that much. And the hospital is less than 5 minutes from my house. The ambulance ride took probably 3 minutes, because they took the long way. So the doctor orders labs, they come back stat, and my liver and my kidneys are already being affected by what's going on. It took 30 minutes from the time that I was brought into the ER for me to be admitted to the hospital. 30 minutes. I asked the doctor, I was like, could this possibly be like my anxiety manifesting, like something like that? And he was like, no, you are like really, really sick. Something is very, very wrong with you. Like, your C-reactive protein is through the roof. Like, your temperature is dangerously high for what's normal for you. Something is really wrong with you. So it turned out I had a port for my TPN. So it turned out I had a staph infection through my port, and it went through my bloodstream all the way through my heart, everything, and I had a serious case of sepsis. So I had to get IV vancomycin 24 hours for 5 days straight in the hospital. And then I had to do IV outpatient. But my husband saved my life because I recognized the same symptoms, not realizing it was because he also had sepsis, that they were the same symptoms. And the doctor said with how fast my was progressing, if I hadn't gotten in right away within 24 hours, I would have been in the same position he was, where my liver and my kidneys would have been failing to the point of not being able to recover within 24 hours. And I wasn't in pain. I wasn't anything. I just was shivering so bad and was just kind of like not able to focus my mind just like my husband. So it was something that I probably would have, if I hadn't recognized that my husband had been similar, is something I probably would have just gone back to bed and just tried to sleep through it and just thought, you know, like, oh, I've got like the flu or something. If I hadn't honestly, the only reason I honestly went was to see if I could get some sort of diagnosis that would save my husband. And he ended up, because of what he was going through, he ended up saving my life. So being somebody who is chronically ill, who is 100% dependent on my husband, my life is going to change a lot. Right now, I feel like I haven't really even started to grieve. Like, I've had moments where I just completely break down, but I feel like I've been so busy having to handle, like, his estate and all the things that come with that, that I feel like I've had to go through the motions so much that I haven't even really had that opportunity. Like, his ashes aren't even back from the mortuary yet. Like, because of COVID, we were only able to do a very small, like, just, like, his parents and my dad, viewing of him. Like, they couldn't embalm him, anything. And I was able to see him in the hospital right after he died, and it was very hard. My mind neither time was able to process that he was gone. To me, he just looked like he was sleeping. And I feel like I just keep waiting for him to walk through the door. Like, a big part of me has really just not processed that he's really gone. I mean, it's been a week today, and I don't know. Like, it just feels like the most impossible nightmare that I just can't wake up from. And all I want to do is sleep, because when I'm asleep, he's there with me. So, that's where I've been. That's why I haven't been posting my usual videos. That's my new reality.